Welcome to another deep dive on Metalogic Mindshots. Today, we are entering one of the most urgent psychological questions of the AI age. Are we using artificial intelligence to expand the mind, or are we slowly training the mind to stop working for itself? By the end of this Mindshot, you will learn practical ways to manage your dependency on AI without, rejecting the technology completely. You will learn how to use AI as a tool and not as a substitute for your judgment. You will also learn how to protect your ability to think, question, compare, doubt, and decide. Because the real danger may not be that AI becomes smarter than us. The real danger may be that we become too comfortable becoming mentally passive. Something strange is already happening. People are no longer asking AI only to assist their thinking. They are asking AI to replace the first draft of their thought. They ask it what to write. They ask it what to believe. They ask it what to say. They ask it how to apologize. They ask it how to argue. They ask it how to decide. They ask it how to feel. And sometimes they even ask it how to understand themselves. At first, this looks efficient. You save time. You get better wording. You avoid mental effort. You feel sharper because the answer arrives instantly. But, hey, here is the trap. The more the machine thinks first, the less your mind gets the chance to struggle, compare, doubt, test, and refine. And those are the exact operations that build intelligence. So, this is not a lazy argument that AI is bad. AI is not the enemy. The real enemy is unconscious dependency. The question is not, should you use AI? The better question is this: are you still the thinker, or have you become the assistant to your assistant? Part 1. The new dependency is not technological, it is cognitive. AI dependency does not begin when you open ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Copilot, or any other tool. It begins when you stop producing your own first thought. That is the first red flag. You no longer ask, "What do I think?" You ask, "What should I think?" This is what I call the decision-making vacuum. It happens when AI becomes the first voice in your head before your own judgment has even entered the room. You need to write an email? You ask AI first. You need to understand an article? You ask AI first. You need to form an opinion? You ask AI first. You need to make a difficult choice? You ask AI first. Slowly, your mind learns a new habit. Before I struggle, I outsource. And the danger is not that AI gives you a bad answer every time. Often, the answer is useful. Sometimes it is excellent. That is exactly why dependency becomes invisible. Bad tools are easy to reject. Useful tools are easy to obey. This is where the research on automation bias becomes important. Raja Parasuraman, a major researcher in human factors, and Dietrich Manzi, a researcher in work psychology, showed that people can become too trusting of automated systems, especially when those systems reduce mental workload. Their work explains that humans do not simply stop participating. Instead, they often remain present while becoming less attentive, less skeptical, and less likely to intervene. That is the psychological danger of AI dependency. You are still there. You are still clicking. You are still copying. You are still editing. But, you may no longer be deeply evaluating. Part 2. Cognitive offloading is useful until it becomes cognitive surrender. Let us be fair. Humans have always used external tools to think. A notebook helps you remember. A calculator helps you compute. A calendar helps you organize. A map helps you navigate. Evan Risco, a cognitive psychologist, and Sam Gilbert, a cognitive neuroscience researcher, call this cognitive offloading. It means using external tools or actions to reduce the mental demand of a task. Their work reminds us that offloading is not automatically bad. In fact, civilization depends on it. But generative AI changes the level of offloading. A notebook stores your thought. A calculator processes a limited operation. A search engine gives you sources. But generative AI can produce the language of thought itself. It can sound like understanding. It can sound like judgment. It can sound like wisdom. And that is where the danger begins. Because when a tool gives you a finished answer, in a confident tone, with fluent structure, your brain is tempted to confuse fluency with truth. This is not a small issue. Matthew Fisher, Marielle Godu, and Frank Kyle, psychologists at Yale University, found that searching the internet can inflate people's sense of their own knowledge. Across 9 experiments, people who searched online tended to feel as if they knew more internally, even when the knowledge was actually coming from external access. Now apply that to AI. If a search engine can make you feel knowledgeable, imagine what happens when an AI tool gives you a polished explanation, a professional tone, and a confident conclusion within seconds. You may not only receive an answer, you may receive the illusion that you have understood. That is the second red flag, cognitive atrophy. I am using that phrase as a metaphor, not as a clinical diagnosis. It means the weakening of mental habits through disuse. If you stop recalling, your memory practice weakens. If you stop comparing arguments, your judgment practice weakens. If you stop writing from scratch, your expressive practice weakens. If you stop sitting with uncertainty, your tolerance for complexity weakens. AI does not destroy critical thinking by force. It seduces critical thinking into early retirement. Part 3. The algorithm does not only answer you, it trains you. The third red flag is the feedback loop trap. AI tools and recommendation systems are not neutral windows into reality. They are often shaped by previous behavior, prediction systems, and optimization goals. The platform learns what keeps you watching. The assistant learns what you tend to request. The feed learns what you pause on. Over time, your information environment can become less like a library and more like a mirror. This is where the work of C.T. Nguyen becomes powerful. Nguyen is a philosopher working in social epistemology, the study of how communities create, share, and distort knowledge. He distinguishes between an epistemic bubble and an echo chamber. In an epistemic bubble, important voices are missing. In an echo chamber, outside voices are not only missing, they are actively discredited. Now think about AI dependency. If you always ask AI to confirm your view, refine your argument, and make your position sound intelligent, you may not be learning. You may be building a private echo chamber with perfect grammar. This is dangerous because wisdom requires contact with what you did not expect. Wisdom requires friction. Wisdom requires contradiction. Wisdom requires the humility to ask, what am I missing? But hey, algorithmic systems often reward what feels relevant, familiar, or immediately useful. So your world narrows while your confidence grows. That is the most dangerous combination. Reduced exposure with increased certainty. Part 4. AI dependency in the real world. One of the clearest public examples came from the legal world. In the Mata versus Avianca case, 2 New York lawyers were sanctioned after submitting legal material that included fictitious cases generated by ChatGPT. Reuters reported that the judge fined the lawyers and their firm after the legal brief included fake case citations. This is not just a story about lawyers. It is a story about a deeper cognitive failure. The tool produced fluent authority. The user trusted the fluency. The verification process failed. And that is the perfect recipe for dependency. When the same system that gives you the claim also becomes the system you ask to verify the claim, you are no longer checking. You are asking the mirror if the reflection is accurate, and the mirror says yes. Part 5. What recent AI research shows about critical thinking? Now let us bring this directly into the AI age. Hao-Ping Lee from Carnegie Mellon University, along with Advait Sarkar, Lev Tankelevich, Ian Drosos, Sean Rintel, Richard Banks, and Nicholas Wilson from Microsoft Research, studied how generative AI affects critical thinking among knowledge workers. Their CHI 2025 study surveyed 319 professionals and collected 936 real examples of people using generative AI in workplace tasks. The key finding is powerful. When users had higher confidence in generative AI, they reported less critical thinking. But when users had higher confidence in their own ability, they reported more critical thinking. This tells us something important. The problem is not simply AI use. The problem is the transfer of authority. When AI becomes the trusted thinker and the human becomes the passive reviewer, critical thinking begins to shrink. The researchers also found that generative AI shifts the nature of critical thinking. Instead of gathering information, users increasingly have to verify information. Instead of solving the whole problem, they increasingly have to integrate and manage AI responses. That means the new critical thinker is not the person who never uses AI. The new critical thinker is the person who knows how to supervise AI. Not worship it, not fear it, supervise it. Part 6. The new critical thinking is not do not use AI. It is think before AI. Here is the practical solution. The goal is not to reject AI. The goal is to reverse the order of authority. Most people use this order: AI first, human second, copy third. That order weakens the mind. Use this order instead: human first, AI second, human final. That is the foundation of cognitive sovereignty. Before you ask AI for an answer, write your own rough answer first. Before you ask AI to summarize an article, write what you think the article is saying. Before you ask AI to create an argument, list your own 3 points. Before you ask AI to decide, name your values, your constraints, and your fears. This one habit changes everything. It tells your brain, I am still the source of judgment. AI can help me refine. AI can challenge me. AI can expose gaps. But AI does not get the first vote. Part 7. The 5 rules for reclaiming your mind. Rule 1. Never outsource the first thought. The first thought can be messy. It can be incomplete. It can be badly phrased. But hey, that does not matter. The first thought is not about perfection. It is about ownership. Rule 2. Use AI as a challenger, not an oracle. Do not only ask, improve this. Ask, what is weak in my reasoning? What would a serious critic say? What assumptions am I making? What evidence would change my mind? This moves AI from a comfort machine to a thinking partner. Rule 3. Add cognitive friction. Zana Buchinka, Maya Malaya, and Krzysztof Gajos researchers in human-computer interaction found that cognitive forcing techniques can reduce over-reliance on AI. In simple terms, people need small moments that force them to pause, think, and evaluate before accepting the machine's recommendation. So, pause before accepting. Rewrite the answer in your own words. Check one claim. Find one opposing source. Explain the idea without looking. You see, friction is not inefficiency. Friction is where thinking happens. Rule 4. Separate fluency from truth. A polished answer is not necessarily a correct answer. A confident tone is not evidence. A beautiful paragraph is not understanding. A clear structure is not wisdom. AI is very good at sounding coherent, but coherence is not the same as reality. Rule 5. Protect your boredom and your confusion. Now, this may sound strange, but boredom and confusion are not always problems. Sometimes they are the doorway to deeper thought. When you immediately ask AI to remove confusion, you may also remove the struggle that would have built understanding. Some confusion should be solved, but some confusion should be lived with for a while. That is where your mind starts working again. Part 8. The final reframe. The future will not belong to people who avoid AI, and it will not belong to people who blindly depend on AI either. The future will belong to people who can use AI without becoming cognitively submissive to it. The strongest person in the AI age is not the person with the most tools. It is the person with the clearest inner authority. The person who can say, "I will use the machine, but I will not surrender my judgment. I will accept assistance, but I will not abandon effort. I will welcome speed, but I will not sacrifice depth. I will use AI to extend my mind, not replace it." Because the real epidemic is not artificial intelligence. The real epidemic is unexamined dependence. And the cure is not fear. The cure is disciplined awareness. So, before you ask AI what to think, pause. Ask yourself first, what do I already know? What do I believe? What am I unsure about? What evidence would change my mind? That small pause is where your freedom begins. And in an age where every platform wants to predict you, shape you, and automate you, the most radical act may be this: think first, then use the tool, not the other way around. If this mind shot helped you rethink your relationship with AI, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who uses AI every day. Because the goal is not to reject the machine. The goal is to remain awake while using it. Thank you for watching.